Royal Black. Power. Truth. Facts.
We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. We want it now, or we don't think anybody should have it.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Okay, so everything's sounding right. So the Michael Jordan syndrome. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And no shade to Mike. I know everybody got their opinion, whether he's the greatest or not, whether him or LeBron or somebody else. I'm not really a sports fan, so that's not really a conversation for me. But statistics, you can't take that away from him. And in 1986, he scored 63 points. He had a 63-point game against the Boston Celtics. He scored a whole lot of points and not a whole lot of passing. And ain't nobody else done that. Nobody else has done that. But not only did he do that, he lost. And I think that has a real significance in what I'm going to be talking about today, because the Celtics wasn't, in my opinion, of course we know it gets controversial when you talk about sports, but in my opinion, the Celtics individual players were not the better players. Let's just say, hypothetically, and I know this right here gonna start an argument, but was Larry Bird better than Michael Jordan? No, not one-on-one. I don't think Larry Bird could have beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. But the thing about it, the game wasn't one-on-one. It wasn't a one-on-one game. and Michael Jordan lost because it was one man playing a whole team. So that's what I'm gonna be talking about here today, because us as Black Americans, and if you looked at my last live, I was talking about this too, but we were brought here and we were set up to lose. We were brought here and we were designed, if I may use that word, we were designed to be losers. We were put in a situation where we could win, but our accomplishments would only be the success of somebody else. But through many reasons, and mainly our determination or our ancestors' determination, because I think in this video it's very important for us to separate ourselves from our ancestors. And I say that because we wasn't out there picking cotton, we wasn't out there getting strung up and dealing with all of the other atrocities. I mean, we got our take on what we go through now, but the experiences that they were going through, it was their experiences. It wasn't our experience. It was things they were going through. And they found a way to overcome that through their determination. They pretty much forced America's hand. You know, people can tell you all type of reasons why we became free, but we were going to be free one way or another. It was just a matter of fact, do you want us to be free with you here in America, or do you want us to be free without you here in America? But one way we're going to be free, so you pick and choose. You know, enough is enough. And of course they chose the latter. They chose to let us be so-called free with resistance. That's why we're in the situation we're in now. But they chose to let us be free with resistance. So they could maintain. You know, that's kind of like what they do. It'll get to a breaking point. I mean, this happens all around the globe. This is not specific to America. I mean, you can apply it to apartheid. It became a system that they had to make that same choice. Like, do we want to let these people be free with us still here, or do we want to let them be free with us not here? And they chose, okay, we want to be here, so we don't have a choice. We don't have no choice but to back up a bit. And that's pretty much what they done here in America. They backed up a bit. They didn't back up all the way. Nowhere. That's what they don't do. Is they don't back up all the way. They just back up enough to ease the pressure, but not enough to lose their economic dominance. So, and we didn't do that as an individual. We didn't do that as a Michael Jordan back in 1986 scoring 63 points a game. That might have been what we were when we first were enslaved. But we were able to see that one man running from the plantation, it's a good chance he's going to get caught. One man putting up an argument, it's a good chance that he's going to get lynched or whipped or whatever the case may be. But the outcome, most likely, He may have a small individual victory, but he may win the battle, but he'll lose the war. So we learned to work together. We learned how to work together to free ourselves, to escape bondage, uh, and it worked for us. Let me rephrase it. It worked for our ancestors. Our ancestors learned to work together, and they were able to escape the plantation through a lot of resistance. Through a lot of resistance, because we already know they will not leave us alone. If it was just as simple as people leaving us alone as black Americans or as black people in general, the world would be a better place for us. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but the truth is, some individuals don't know how to survive without eating off of somebody else's plate. They don't know how to survive. I mean, that's all they know is that we have the way we survive is through someone else's sweat, not our own. I mean, we may perspire a little bit, but we got to make sure they do the bulk of it. And that's what this whole capitalist system is built on. Is it almost seems like the person that do the least gets the most. That's like the philosophy that they're running with. But anyway, as we can see, Michael Jordan was doing the most. He was doing more than his teammates. He was doing more than any individual player on the Celtics team in 1986. He was doing more than everybody, but he was an individual. And eventually he learned that if it was going to benefit him throughout his career, throughout his lifetime, he got to start working with people. He got to start passing the ball. He got to bring other people on board. He got to let other people get involved, because that's how they take down a team. That's how he switches from a sole proprietorship to a business structure. And that's where a lot of our failures have came from having the Michael Jordan syndrome. But anyway, let's talk about what our ancestors did more. They were able to escape the plantation, then escape poverty, escape unfairness. They were able to build communities. If you were seeing the video yesterday, I had the maps laid out showing you the different communities, some of the different communities and settlements that we had built, because that's why that video was called Stop Crying About Tulsa. It was no insult to Tulsa. Tulsa deserves to be talked about, but there were 1,200 other places that deserve to be talked about too. You know, we can relay that back to sports. It would be a shame if we only talked about, like, if Michael Jordan's whole legacy was just that 63-point game. It would diminish everything else he did. It would diminish the 6 championships. It would diminish everything. It would diminish his NASCAR accomplishments, the other accomplishments he didn't had in life. It would diminish his whole legacy. if we only focus on that one. You know what? Switch it up here. So anyway, we started working together. We built these communities, and they cannot leave us alone. I mean, they can say what they want, but the number one problem, my opinion, the number one problem black people have, out of all the problems they have, out of all the problems we have, our number one problem that we face as individuals, as a group, period, and really around the globe, is that they will not leave us alone. The extremists, the profiteers, they will not leave us alone. It's so simple to do. It's so simple just to leave us alone, but they truly believe, or I don't think they truly believe, but they love saying, like you even had John Wayne saying, that, I'm going to put it in my own words, that for the lack of better words, he won't support black people until they start supporting themselves or until they start doing for themselves. They really believe that they have to do for us. They really feel like they have to babysit us, or at least that's the story that they tell. But they have no other example. They have no examples to show them where they left us alone long enough. Those maps were examples. You left us alone for a while. We built communities. We built economic power. We built wealth. We built businesses. And then you couldn't leave us alone. you couldn't leave us alone. I mean, that was the point. I mean, and you can even take it outside of the United States to Liberia, which some of you may know about, some of you may not. I know many of you, even the ones that do know what I'm talking about, that you got your opinions about that. But even in Liberia, we took nothing, just like we done here in America. We took a bad situation and made it great. But they could not leave us alone. That's always the thing. They say that if they don't manage us, we won't do well. And then they don't manage us and we do well. And then they come in and they manage to destroy whatever it is we have created, whatever we have bloomed, whatever crops we have bloomed, they find a way to destroy it. Whatever economics we have created, they find a way to destroy it intentionally. Because the problem is they see us, hey, they over there eating, but we got to get most of that food off that plate. They got a whole steak on that plate. No, the only thing they can have is the bone. We need the steak for ourselves. We'll leave them the bone, so we got to find a way how to get all the meat and leave them the gristle. And they've been pounding on us nonstop. They pounded on our ancestors. They destroyed our leaders, our true leaders, whether we agree with all of them or not, because some of us do, some of us don't, some of us got opinions about some of them, including myself. But I think that if we're all honest, regardless of how we may feel about some of our past leaders, is that they had good intentions. Whether the results ended up that way, Whether those results benefited us or not, that's another thing. But one thing we can say, they all put their life on the line, and for many of them, they lost it. Uh, but they all were broken down. Uh, None of them could be left alone. That was the whole thing. Um, so what I'm talking about here today, let me just get into it instead of beating around the bush. There was a great incline. We were inclining, we were progressing, we were building communities, and then of course they were coming right behind us, the extremists, destroying those communities when they couldn't eat off the plate. You know, it's fine. They'll leave us alone when they're able to eat off the plate. Like they will leave us in the projects when we work for them. Like they want you in the projects. They want you in a bad environment. When there's nothing there they want. When there's nothing that they want. They don't want the projects. They don't want that environment. They don't want the chaos. They don't want that crime. The only thing they want is your label. So they want that part. You know, you come out long enough to put some food on our plate, and then you go right back there. And we'll leave you alone that way. We'll leave you alone once you go back to a certain degree, unless you find a way how to turn lemonades. I mean, unless you find a way to turn lemons into lemonade. Now we're gonna come in there and mess with you. We're not gonna let you be turning lemons into lemonades. We're gonna make sure that we criminalize that. If you in there making money in the projects, we're gonna come in there and we're gonna bust you up, because you can't make profit in there. But long as you just kind of like stay in there like livestock, long as you just stay in there kind of like livestock until we ready to utilize you, you're perfectly fine. So anyway, we made this great climb. They come right back, done everything they could. They always have come back, done every single thing that they could to destroy whatever it was that we have created. They have created, our ancestors. I may keep slipping up and saying we, but trust me, I mean they. And then the civil rights came. And that's when we got on a whole different level. When the civil rights came. And when we began asking for their stuff. It seemed like our stuff we became dissatisfied with. It was almost like we said, if we can't beat them, let's join them. Because we build a store, they tear it down. We build a community, they tear it down. So let's go to their stores and their communities. And then that's what we started asking for. We started boycotting to shop in their stores, to ride their buses, to go to their schools, to live in their neighborhoods, to drive their cars. Because for you guys that don't know, we did have a car company. We did have a black-owned car company. We started desiring everything that they had, because that is what was stable. That is what would be consistently there. You know, we may have something 1 minute, but then the next minute it's gone. We may have a community 1 minute, and then the next minute it's gone. Or they, let me rephrase it, our ancestors, they may have a community 1 minute, then the next minute it is gone. And then we just start abandoning everything that we had built. Like, we're no longer going to deposit money in our black banks. We'll put our money in their banks. We'll go to their schools. We'll eat their food, shop in their grocery stores, wear their clothes, the whole gambit. And every time we done that, we abandoned the opposite. Go to their schools, we abandon our schools and our school teachers. Because doing integration, our teachers, the majority of them, did not integrate with it. Um, the bosses that were running black business did not integrate into running white businesses. It's like they designed a system where they could give us individual accomplishments as long as it benefited them, but not group accomplishments. Like, we can't let the group, it's 1,000 of them over there, we'll take one of them out and let them benefit, but the whole group can't benefit. And we accepted that. And we were like, okay, that's what it is. We'll become individuals. Forget this group thing. Forget working together. Because when we work together, everything we build together gets destroyed. So we'll just start, okay, if I could become the CEO or the supervisor, more likely. If I can become the supervisor in the white institution, I'll rock with that. If I can become the manager at the white restaurant, I'll rock with that. And everything just started to change. And our economics started to go down. Until this day, we are individuals. We're just a bunch of black individuals. I mean, you can look at some of the things. Like, we got, well, first, before I say Tyler Perry, we'll say Oprah Winfrey first, because she had a production studio as an individual. What was it, Harpo Studios, as an individual. And then we got Tyler Perry. He got his studio as an individual. We got 2 Michael Jordans. You see what I'm saying? I mean, we got more. You know, I can keep on going, naming the list. We got Jay-Z, individual. And these individuals are successful. But what they have accomplished as individuals don't help the team. Just like the 63 points Michael Jordan scored did not help the team. Did not win a championship and was not sustainable. He could have kept on breaking records. I'm pretty sure he could have got to where he was scoring 70 and 80 points a game. Wasn't going to win. Your team was not going to win. And that's what we're doing now. Our team is not winning. Our team is not winning. So let me go to some notes. So when we go back and we look at, I mean, because we got some other individual things that took place too, like BET. Who was it? Bob Johnson had an individual company, BET. white owned. That's where it is now. You see what I'm saying? And it wasn't bought by one individual. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't bought by one individual. It was bought by a collective. It was bought by a structure of many individuals. Motown was built by one individual, white owned, acquired by a group of individuals, a group, a team. And we've had all type of great businesses that have risen and fallen, and some are still here, some are not. But for the majority of them that are still here, they're hurting. The only reason why they haven't been sold to the group is because the group don't want them. The group is just watching, waiting for those businesses to decay. It's like there's no need. We don't even want it. We don't see the value in doing that. We can just play the big bank, take little bank route. As well as our banks too. That's a good thing to bring up. I'm fortunate enough to have two black banks in my immediate area, but I think it's like only 18 in America in general. But I'm in a unique part of America. I'm in a very unique part of America where it was a economic hub where our ancestors did choose to come and build, and some of those things were able to survive the times because they were group efforts. A lot of those businesses that were individual efforts just didn't make it. And to be honest, some that were group efforts because it was a larger group that was attacking it. It was the whole thing that we have been facing throughout time was big bank take little bank. Big power take little power. And we have to find a way, if we're going to do anything, to work together. I mean, we're talking now. Tell me what makes us different from colonizers, first of all, because it seems like we have adapted their way of thinking. One, colonizers, and I'm going to just tell me what you think about it. We say, or someone said, I mean, there was like no ballots passed around the black community, like nobody actually voted on this. And that leads me back to the argument of having a bad structure or no structure at all. So this is something we've done with no structure. Asian boycott. Now, first of all, I don't think there's no reason in the world why how Asians have treated us in recent times, really more than recent, but I mean longer, much more than recent, but in these times, that shouldn't have been a factor to buy black. But I understand why we don't. It's hard to spend money with black businesses. And even when we do, what are we doing? We normally spending money with individuals. And even if we make these individuals successful, they don't have the ability to spread the love. They're still struggling to grow. They're still struggling to employ. They still struggling to maintain because their competition are groups. There's an Michael Jordan on the black team trying to score all the points against the Celtics, the other business. And it's hard to be competitive that way. But back to the colonizer's mentality, and this is why we cannot fall into that trap. Now, let's just, we're going to change the color of the people. Now, let's just say white people. We're shopping at our business, which I know that's not the case, but I'm just going to use this. Say white people were shopping at our business and we were treating them sideways. And then the white people say, we're going to boycott their business. We're going to shut their business down because we're the only people that deal with them. So we're going to shut their business down. We're going to cut off their sales completely and drive them out of that business. And once we drive them out of that business, we're going to reopen it. We're going to reopen it for us, for the white people. That's what the white people are saying. We're going to reopen it. What makes that not colonization? Why is that not colonization? Why is that not a colonizer's mentality to do something like that? To take something that someone else has built and destroy it and reopen it for their own personal gain. Why wouldn't those white people have a colonizer's mentality? So, if those are Asian businesses and black people do the same thing, why wouldn't black people be colonizers? Why wouldn't their mentality be the same as a colonizer? Why couldn't it just be, oh, they treating us this way, let's just open up our own. Let's just open up our own thing. Let's just say, like, when the Target boycott started, and it's a lot I could say about that, and we can go back to that individual too. We're going to talk about a little bit about Target, and we're going to talk about Jay-Z with Target. Now, y'all heard his little freestyle, and he basically was saying that we ain't doing enough. Like, he gonna keep doing business with Target because what we're doing as far as the boycott is ineffective. So he's gonna get his money regardless of what we do, or he's gonna do something that's counterproductive to what we're trying to do. There we go again. First of all, there's no structure. Two is that one, Michael Jordan but then we got Al Sharpton. And I'm not trying to hate on people. I'm just saying how it is. I've seen where when it first started taking place, he was like, okay, we're going to take our money from Target, and I don't remember where he said he was going to move it to. It might have been to Costco, or I think that's where it was. And he was going to take it from Walmart to Costco. And he took 100 black people down there to Costco to open up memberships to shop at somebody else's store when I think it would have been a perfect opportunity to get them to put that same membership fee towards something of their own. 100 people could have worked together and done something. No, 100 people with $100 ain't gonna build no Costco overnight. But that's how you start a Costco. You got to start somewhere. We got to quit trying to jump straight from the beginning to the end, or we have to be willing. I mean, we know that we can crawl. I mean, sometimes we got to crawl until we can walk. We can't run to the finish line every time. We can't go straight from the beginning to the end every single time, because that's exactly what it is. We're going from the beginning to the end. We're going to the end of our opportunity. We don't have any opportunity by repeating these steps. And we've been beaten down, first of all, because this is not let's talk junk about what black people are doing. Because we can be honest, if we all did put our money together to do something, to create something, let's say a co-op, I'm not trying to get nobody to join my co-op. Lord forbid that. But just in general, just hypothetically, if we're going to try to pool money together, if we pool money together and we've done something, it wouldn't be long before they come. It wouldn't be long before they would get in our business telling us that it's something that we can't do, or somehow they have to be a part of it. Somehow they have to be able to get some of the profit out of it. It wouldn't be long before that would happen. And if they couldn't find a way to do that, it wouldn't be too long before a road get laid down right where whatever we created lies. Of course, we know that the BS is coming, but that's not a reason to do it. That's not a reason to be afraid to do it. It's like we've lost our goals, our willingness, our ability to work together, to even try. I think the time is now. I'm just telling you, if not now, when? If we're not going to work together now, when are we going to work together? I mean, what do you think? You think it's going to be a better time next year to work together? It's going to be a better opportunity next year to work together? Do you think it's going to be a better time 10 years from now to work together? Do you think our conditions are going to improve the way that we're going 2, 3, 5 years from now? Or do you think it's going to get worse? I would like to know when it's been getting better. That's what I would like to know. I would like for somebody to tell me, put it in the comments. Tell me when it has been getting better. That would be something real handy to actually know. So are we just going to give up? That's the question. Are we just going to give up? Are we just going to fight among ourselves? Because that's where most of the energy I see going. I see more energy going into arguing with people that look just like us, vice versa. I see people that look just like us arguing with us as well, disagreeing with us, uh, different agendas, um, working against each other. It used to be this thing what my mom would do all the time because I had 7 brothers and sisters, and it'll come this time where we would all disagree. It'll just be this dysfunction, like we're not working together. And my mom would always find some object that she can tie 8 strings to, and she would give all of us a string to pull on and tell us to, pull in a certain direction, the opposite from each other, and let's see how the object moves. And of course, it never went anywhere. It never went anywhere easily. But really, the whole thing that she was showing is that we're all pulling in different directions. And because of that, we're not accomplishing. We're just moving something around, but we're not moving it in any concrete direction. That's what's going on now. Because Jay-Z got a string. He ain't pulling it towards the community. And I'm not hating. It's just the object that his string is tied to, Target, for instance, and the strings that those that are boycotting Target are pulling are in 2 different directions. But his strength lies in his bank account, just like our strength lies in our bank account. So he's pulling his money in one direction, and we're pulling our money in a completely different direction. And it ain't really going nowhere. It's not working out for us anyway. I mean, that's probably not a real good analogy because the truth is it's working out for him. It's working out for him. But it ain't working out for us. And I think the time is now. So really, that's really what this thing is about. When are we gonna? I mean, I don't think I need to show you a million examples. I could show you a million examples, literally a million examples of these independent businesses that we all know that are ran by a single individual, and they have this pattern of rising and falling. And I'm not going to be afraid to say it. I'm going to talk about co-ops. I mean, I don't have a co-op for you to join, first of all, so you can the grifter stuff. For those that want to leave those type of comments, I don't have a co-op. I don't have a workers co-op for you to be a part of. So I'm not asking you for anything. I'm not asking you to join anything with me. In fact, what I'm really hoping is that y'all can create something for me to join. That's what I'm hoping. That y'all can create something that I can be a part of. Not the other way around. Not me create something for you to be a part of. Can y'all create something that I can be a part of? So, Tyler Perry. Now, I said this the other day, but I'm going to say it again. Let's just say Tyler Perry. We got one black man that owned a movie studio. That's a Michael Jordan scoring 63 points. He scored the 63 points. He got a whole lot of accomplishments. Individual. But what if Tyler Perry, when he went to the table, if he said, hey, I want to round up some filmmakers. I want to round up Ava DuVernay. I want to get Jordan Peele. I want to get Ryan Coogler. I want to get Issa Rae. I want to get, I can't think of the guy who made the movie Get Out. I can't think of his name right now. But get some of these filmmakers, these that's out here making these great films, and say, hey man, let's go in on this studio. Let's all chip in on this studio. Let's create a cooperative. Then that studio can compete with Hollywood. Because let's just really look at it. Tyler Perry movies aren't competing with Hollywood. I mean, I really don't see it as competing. I see it as, okay, he's in a situation that he can create movies at a cheaper expense than he was making them before. But I don't necessarily see more movies. I don't necessarily see better movies. It's like, it seems like you still put movies out at the same rate that you've been putting movies out for the longest. And then we still got people struggling to be able to shoot movies. We still got a lot of good ideas. Let's just say, for instance, like the Haiti Rebellion. I think it's a movie that everybody needs to see. I think it's a movie that needs to be out there. We need to see. We need to know some accomplishments. We need to know some great accomplishments. First of all, great accomplishments from our brothers and sisters. Some things that they did, and then we can understand why they hated on. And maybe we can understand why a lot of us hate on them. Because what we have to understand about Haiti, white people hate Haitians. America hate Haitians. The European nation hates Haiti. White folks hate Haiti, and is their hate for Haitians having an effect on you? Because they mad because they lost. The Haitians beat them. The Haitians got their independence. And not only did they win their independence, but it was so backwards. They got their independence, and even though they won, white people still found a way where Haiti had to basically pay the equivalent of, I think, $22 billion to the white folks for winning, because they won. But that's a movie that's hard to make. because white folks don't want that movie made. They don't want us to hear the story about them losing and people gaining independence. Black people. They don't want that story out. But I think if Tyler Perry Studios was a cooperative, that movie probably would be on the table right now. It probably would be on the table. It probably would be in production because you got so many different minds that are a part of it, that are associated with it. Different mindsets, different skill sets. Now, by no means am I saying that, well, it's not a benefit to black people that Tyler Perry has a movie studio. It's a benefit to some black people that he employs. I mean, but come on, we can look at his movies now. He always employ those other folks too. I mean, let's just keep it real. He do. And he has a tradition, especially us darker fellas, of not showing us in the greatest lights. It's almost like he is perpetuating a stereotype uh, that's not beneficial to the black community in many cases. It's not uplifting. It's not one of unity in many cases. But I think it could be stronger. I think it could be stronger. I'm not going to get on here and talk forever. But there are some things that could be accomplished and his studio could be stronger. You see, because a lot of these studios that are not around, I'm going to refer to music studios, music record labels. A lot of these record labels that are not around aren't around simply because it was one person that had the ability to make the decision. It was one person that could sign the signature. And that one individual, in many cases of these black businesses, these great iconic black businesses, chose to sell a great black business to white folks to let them shape us. Because you can argue all you want to. I'm not saying that music controls you. I'm not saying film controls you, but it does paint a narrative. It does. I mean, I know many of us would agree about immigrants. Like the immigrants before they come here, they already have a preconceived notion about us. And this is from film. This is from news. It's from the movies they watch. That we're already. I mean, if you guys really pay attention, because I don't even think sometimes you even pay attention. Uh, because it's sometimes not even obvious. I'm looking at some movie right now. I don't even know the name of it, but it's like some, what is it, with Nicolas Cage? I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's like Spider something. And just pay attention how it's a movie with a largely white with largely white actors, but the one black actor that they focuses on got to be colorful. His clothes, his attitude, his personality. He can't be as normal as the rest of the people. He has to be this flamboyant, standout type of person. And when a person abroad sees that, it puts a certain image in their head. And when we see it, it doesn't even matter about people abroad. I'm talking about people right here. When they start seeing it, and I'm not saying ain't nothing wrong with black people being flamboyant and have on these bright color clothes and things like that. But do we have to be like that in every movie? I mean, something tells me if you would have casted a white person for that exact role, they wouldn't have been flamboyant. They just would have been a normal old white person wearing normal old clothes with a normal old attitude. Uh, I think it's Spider Noir or something like that. I don't know the name of it. But I don't know, man. I got somebody blowing my phone up, so I'm not gonna be on here too long. I know I should have. Trying to find a good time. I was supposed to come on last night, man. Didn't happen. Uh, but I just want some suggestions, man. What do we do? What do we do? How do we move forward? Because the way that we are right now at this moment in time, we're not moving forward. We're not moving forward. There's a lot of hate being spread amongst the black community. There's a lot of people that don't want to identify with Africans. Hey, to each his own. If you want to be Indian, I got no gripes about that. And I'm not saying that you're not. But what I am saying through facts, something that you can't deny, is that at one point on this earth, it was just one landmass. And on that one landmass, people were black, so called black. And we understand that the plates separated and became continents, and people were divided and became different cultures and things of that nature. Yeah, I understand that. Okay, people became Indian, people became that, people became this, and people became that. But at one time, we were just black people that originated from the exact same place. And we can find this in our DNA. Even for the people that do it wrong. There's some people that do it wrong, some people that do it right, but regardless, whether they do it wrong or right, we all end up at the same place. And to be honest, that place wasn't even called Africa. But to look at us, whether we are African, Black American, Indian American, and for that matter, European American, to say that we don't have, if we don't share something in common, I think you're just not looking at the facts. You're just not looking at the facts. We all came from one place. But in this society now, in this time now, we divide by color. Or we are divided by color. Now, us as black Americans or Africans or Caribbeans, we are divided by nationality. But the people in power, the people that is oppressing us, are divided by color. They don't care about your nationality. In fact, you can be white from Africa, you can be light skinned from Africa, and you can be black from Africa. You're going to get treated differently based on your color, not from where you came from. Uh, the same from Mexico. You can come from Mexico. You can be brown, and you can be Afro Latino. You're gonna get treated different based on your color. Don't nobody care about the language you speaking. Ain't nobody looking for your culture. When they bust you over the head, they ain't saying, what culture are you? I mean, that's not what they saying before they bust you over the head. That's not what they asking you before they deny you opportunity. That's not what they saying before they oppress you. That's not what they saying before they decide to let you in the club. And that's why we got so many sellouts. And that's what we got to realize. We got sellouts that are foundational black Americans. In fact, those are the most I know. The most sellouts I know, and of course, I guess that's all I should know, is foundational black Americans. I mean, look at Officer Tatum and what is it, Jason Whitlock and Candace Owens and I don't know, the list goes on and on. I don't even want to name them. And the thing about it, those are just the ones that's speaking up. But we got them all everywhere. I got some in my workplace, and it ain't even many of us there. They everywhere that ain't ready for the cause. That doesn't have that unity. So it's hard to try to identify someone because they are foundational Black American. It's hard to say that whether that makes them a ally just because they're foundational Black. That's not true, and it's also difficult to say that makes them an enemy because they're an immigrant. And I understand what goes on. Like we have our things, we call them tethers, and they call us akatas. They the same word, basically. It's just we calling you this, and you calling us that, because it's your way of saying we don't fit in. That we're not down with your we're not down with your culture. So we're akatas or cotton pickers or whatever. And it's our way of saying you don't fit in because you're not foundational, you don't have our experiences. But on both those sides, we have individuals that don't believe in none of that. Some of them share our culture identically. Some of them have been here longer than some of the FBAs that are talking shit. I mean, you got a 20-year-old FBA trying to tell someone that they're not Black, and then they're 40 years old and they were born in America. I mean, it's not logic to me. It's not logic to me. Especially if they down for the cause. Let's just use an example, man. Let's use Godfrey for an example. He was born here in America. I'm not sure how old he is. I think he might be. I don't know. He looks young, to be honest, but something tell me he's a lot older than he look. So I'm gonna just put 40 on him. I'm gonna put 40 on him. Uh, and he's been around all these activists. He's been promoting blackness. He's been down with the struggle versus a 20-year-old who is foundational black American, but ain't done nothing. Ain't done nothing but maybe hate on black people, rob and steal from black people, choose to act up in school and not be properly educated. And I'm not knocking. I wasn't the greatest in school neither. I didn't listen. I mean, I think we do that, but it's a certain level of what you do. Uh, and know nothing about your history. No, actually don't know nothing. You just getting everything you know straight off of YouTube. Everything you know, everything that you claiming to be is straight off social media. Everything is just straight off social media. Somebody say you an Indian, so you an Indian. Because you'll do anything to not be identified as an African. You'll say anything because that's something to make fun of. African is something to make fun of. So you're going to separate yourself from that just through your words, not through your actions, not through a history lesson, not through nothing that you ever did in your whole life. I tell you, I'd rather have somebody like Godfrey on my side than that 20-year-old. I can see the good that he would do versus the bad that the other person would do for the culture. So it all just doesn't make sense. It's all hard to. I mean, it makes some sense because they do show some trends, but we show some trends too. But we just can't paint them all with a broad brush, and they can't paint us all with a broad brush. Like right there, the two individuals I was talking about, I was painting with a pinpoint accuracy. And the mentality of the two different individuals, the ideals of the two individuals is what's important, not where they came from. Not, and the thing about it is you can't even say when I'm comparing it to, you can't say where they came from because Godfrey was born in Chicago. He's from Chicago. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you a story. I done seen. I know y'all gonna be like, you're going too far now. I'm just talking about on merit. I'm basing it on merit. And I'm not gonna lie, it's only been one of them in my lifetime. And I'll never forget this guy. I met him when I was younger. I met a white guy that based on merit, he was blacker than me. Based on merits, he was blacker than me. Based on merits, he was blacker than me. Based on ideals, he was blacker than me. So it's just hard. I mean, you got to paint with a pinpoint accuracy, and it's hard to do that. I mean, it's real hard to do that because it really needs to start coming down to what have you done? What are you doing? What are your ideals? Not where you from. you know. But we got to do something, and I'm going to kind of flow through this. I got some notes, but I'm not going to go through all of them. But I think I want to talk about, like, we won. Look, we got to quit talking about what our ancestors did. I mean, it looks bad, really, when you start going back 200-300 years to boast about accomplishments. It starts to look bad because if you're boasting about something, okay, let's rephrase it. If you're boasting about some accomplishment from 70 years ago and you 20 or 30 or 40, what that means is you don't have any accomplishments to boast about in your lifetime. You're boasting about something that somebody else did. And you're trying to take control of what they did. You're trying to set rules and regulations for what they did. Who's allowed to benefit from it? Who's allowed not to benefit from it? You're trying to set rules and regulations for something that you didn't have anything to do about, anything to do with. It's time that we stand up. I mean, that's all I'm trying to say. It's time that we stand up. It's time that we work together some way, somehow, and that we do something concrete that can move us forward besides just running our chops all the time. It's because that ain't getting us nowhere. It's time for us to do something. I mean, I just don't know how to say it no clearer than that. It's been too long since we have done anything as a group that has bloomed anything. Now, we can boast about Target, but what did that bloom? I mean, how did boycotting Target put any money in our pocket? How did it make our economics better? How does it make our situation better? It doesn't. It makes Target's situation worse, but it doesn't make our situation better. And we have a whole lot of those. We have a whole lot of making somebody's situation worse, but not our situation better. To me, I would rather make our situation better. Now, if through consequences, if it made someone else's situation worse, hey, so be it. But that wouldn't be the goal. I mean, if I could make my situation, that's all that matters to me, is making my situation better, making our situation better, putting ourselves on a equal playing field. And to be honest, I'll be honest, I don't even want to be on an equal playing field. To be honest, I don't mind being on an unequal playing field as long as it's not, as long as I benefit, as long as we benefit. I mean, if we benefiting and it hurts, I don't got a problem with that. I mean, I'll just be straight up with you. If we winning and someone else is losing, so what? I mean, I just be honest with you. So what? I don't care if they losing. Really don't. But I think we've been on a break. That's basically what I'm trying to get to. Is I think that we've been on a break a long time, and I think there's some fear. I think it's fear of really. I think it's some fear involved. Uh, and I think we have a right to have some fear. Because us working together somehow was always taken as us working against them, which it is, because us working together means they can't profit from us. That's what it means. It means like that's the way they're looking at it. Like, how do we eat if we can't eat off of them? If we can't capitalize off of their sweat, blood, and tears, then it hurts us. Because that means we have to start eating off our own blood, sweat, and tears. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to have to eat off their own blood, sweat, and tears. They don't. But we can't let that keep happening to us. We have to quit selling our labor for what we're selling our labor for. Because we don't have to. That's the thing about it. To me, it's so simple. And to me, a great starting point is a worker cooperative, because we all have jobs. And many of us work for other people. So why not work for ourselves? Or let me rephrase it when I say work for other people. Many of us, most of us, sell our labor to other people. Why not sell our labor to ourselves? Why not do that? I mean, we could do the exact same thing that we already do. The only difference is, instead of them, let's just say some guys, I don't know, I'm not even going to get into it. We have to, and the thing about it, see, everybody don't have the ability to start a business as an individual, just an individual. And to be honest, we have a lot of those individual businesses. Those are the majority of the businesses that exist in the world, are individual businesses. But what those individuals do is employ yourself, and only yourself. It's like you created a job for yourself, just yourself. And it's easy to be taken out by a competition. It's just a one-man business. Let's just say, for instance, I'll take it back to elementary. Let's just say one man say, okay, I'm gonna take $500 and I'm gonna go open up a lemonade stand. And he does that. At the exact same time, two men say, we're gonna take $500 each and open up a lemonade stand. Who do you think gonna be able to sell the most lemonade? Who do you think gonna be able to sell the cheapest lemonade? Who do you think gonna be able to sell the best lemonade? You think the one guy? If he do sell the cheapest lemonade, he's making the least amount of money. I mean, it's just simple math. And you can keep on going. I mean, the two guys open up a lemonade stand with they $500, and then you got 10 guys that move right beside them. $500 piece, $5,000, and they start a lemonade stand for $5,000. Who gonna sell the most lemonade? Who gonna sell the lemonade the cheapest? It's simple math. Big bank takes little bank, and we keep choosing to be the little bank, the independent bank, the bank with one teller. And it's so easy for us to get gobbled up, man. You know. So anyway, My plan is to go back to making pre-recorded content. This is the last live that I think that I'm going to be making for a while. Uh, so I hope you check out the pre-recorded content. It'll probably be structured. It will be structured better than just coming on here freestyling. Uh, and I'm assuming maybe more entertaining, man. But I hope you guys are gonna like, share, hit the subscribe button. I don't know why this thing. I don't know. I'm having trouble over here. Yeah, but probably gonna be the last live that I'll be doing for a while. I was trying to do that, get y'all like, share, subscribe. Of course, I'm gonna be doing some plotting, some scheming, trying to figure out how to how we can move forward together, how we can regain some economic power and try to do it in a way that I won't be seen as a grifter. Uh, and I think that what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to target the neighborhood. I think that maybe social media is not the best way. Uh, Maybe I really need to put boots on the ground, which I've been trying to do too. I don't know, to be honest. It's difficult either way. It's almost like if I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. Uh, to be honest, I was trying to get some guys from my workplace to be involved. And they were just so secure in their jobs. And ironically, one of them recently got fired. And now he's in a situation where he can afford to be part of a worker co-op because he don't have income coming in now. Wouldn't take advantage of the opportunity when he had the ability to, but now wants to take advantage of the opportunity when he doesn't have the ability to. So a lot of you guys, I mean, look, just amongst your co-workers, just amongst the people in your neighborhood, try to do something. Don't put yourself in a box. Don't limit your ideas. Don't think for some reason that you can't start an airline or an electric car company or the next YouTube. The only thing you would be wrong about is if you thought you can do it by yourself, then you might be wrong. But it starts with an individual that can motivate other individuals to share the vision and also to share the sacrifice. because there's going to be some point in time. I mean, you look, you starting a cooperative or starting a joint venture business or whatever the case it may be is not winning the jackpot. If you looking for, I mean, if you're looking for an opportunity, like I'm not saying you can't get it now, but I'm telling you, if you're looking for the type of opportunity where you come up with an idea as an individual, and then somebody come and say, okay, I like the idea you saying. I'm gonna give you $25 million and you just go do it. I'm not saying you can't do that deal. If you do, hey, come teach me how to do it. Come teach me how to do it. But you're normally gonna have to sacrifice more than just an idea. You're gonna have to do more than just come up with an idea. And the best time to do it is when you already have financial income. I'm not saying you got to break the bank. There's things that you can do with enough people where it's only $5, $10, $20 that you have to put aside. Maybe you have to sacrifice that cup of coffee that you drink every day, or a pack of cigarettes that you eat every day, or a uh, frappuccino. I'm guilty every day, every weekday. Caramel frappuccino. Maybe you have to sacrifice that. Uh, Maybe it's sacrificing going to the club. Maybe it's sacrificing an outfit that you buy once a week, or however often you buy it, or a pair of shoes. But one thing I can tell you factually is those sacrifices pay off. They can pay off. I've done it several times, and it paid off each time. The one flaw that I see in all those situations, like yesterday, I was telling you about how I was broke down mentally when I was manufacturing the true food trucks, when I was broke down mentally. I was broken down mentally because I had to deal with everything. It was just me. I had to deal with the customers, the accountant, the employees, the payroll, the utilities, uh, the scheduling, the purchase orders, uh, the banks, um, the city, the state, the county, the different municipalities, uh, and the racism. And to be honest, at that time, a wife that could not comprehend and was also selfish. One that was, tell you how selfish. One that wanted to be independent so bad, wanted to be an independent black woman so bad that she thought that it would ruin her reputation to work with her husband for more pay. You see what I'm saying? For more pay. For a pay raise. For a big pay raise. But thought somehow, because of what media had taught her, was that she could not be an independent black woman if she helped her husband succeed, if she helped her family succeed, that somehow she would not have black girl magic. That is what when white corporations make the decisions of what end up on television end up doing to our culture. I mean, literally was brainwashed. But anyway, couldn't bring her in, but that's not what I was about to say. My biggest flaw is that I didn't. Like, I think about it all the time, and I was like, to be honest, at the time, I didn't know about. I knew what a worker co-op was. I just didn't see a reason how it would benefit me. Jesus Christ. I just didn't see how it would benefit me as a person, and I that had sacrificed so much. That's all I could think about is that, man, I done sacrificed so much to start this business and get it up and running, and now it's up and running. I just don't see how nobody else could fit into it without being an employee. And I was kind of on the right page because I started thinking about letting my employees sacrifice some of their wage in return. It was two ways. One was you could sacrifice some of your wage, and in a certain period of time, you get a certain percentage of the business. And then the other way was you could pick up more responsibilities, and after a certain period of time, I'll give you a percentage of the business. But either way, they were all microwaves. They wanted things instantly. They didn't want to work for it. And I probably told you the story about the guy that actually took the opportunity to take on more responsibility and a wage increase on top of it. He actually got a wage increase. Took on more responsibility, and then 4 days later, he decided that he didn't want to do it, but he didn't want to go back down to what he was making before we made the agreement. But yeah, the thing that I truly know anyway right now, that if I would have just said, look, damn, if I just would have just turned it into a worker co-op, and I'm not sure if I would have found the people, but let's just say if I would have, because it definitely could have used, if I had to guess, I would say 7 more people. I think with 8 owners, it definitely could have been more profitable. And it definitely would have relieved the mental stress that I was dealing with. And it also would have took the ability for me to be the sole person to make the decision to close it down. because generally about 6 months after I had closed the business down, I was like, man, I never should have closed that business down, man. I was having mental stress, and I let that stress affect the decision. But at that time, it was too hard to restart because I done liquidated everything, the majority of everything, and it was just from that point it would have probably cost me about $1.5 million to start back where I left off. And it just wasn't happening. I don't know, but I think everybody should look into worker co-ops. I mean, don't look at it from the point of joining in with my worker co-op. Just look at it from the point of, maybe I should. You as an individual, maybe you should consider starting a worker co-op. Maybe it will be a good opportunity to you. So I challenge y'all to look into them, to really look into them, look at a couple of videos about it, do some research about it, see what the benefits of them are. Because it may be a perfect way for you to transition from your current employment into where you're selling your labor to the company you're working for, instead of letting them capitalize off your labor, you capitalizing off of it, because that's solely what it is. That's the objective. That's what it is instead of letting other people capitalize off of your labor. Just say you may, who knows what you make. Say you make $1,000 a week, but you didn't done more than $1,000 worth of work. I mean, if a company paying you $1,000, they're not going to pay you more than what they have made. Of course, they're going to pay you less than what they have made. So if they're paying you $1,000, man, they probably made. I'm gonna say at the minimum at least $2,000, but I'm pretty sure it's probably more than that. But I'm gonna say at the minimum they at least made $2,000. So consider worker co-op. Look into it. Uh, co-op don't take nothing but 3 people, but there's plenty of benefits. Don't look at it like a partnership, because I think that's what a lot of people look at it like, as a partnership. But a co-op is something different, and statistically it has better benefits than a capitalistic business, which is what all businesses are in America for the most part. If it's not a worker co-op, it is a capitalistic business. It's a business, I broke down the numbers the other day when I was telling y'all about like how much Elon Musk would still make if it was a worker cooperative, how we still out Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, how they all would still be multi-millionaires if their companies were worker co-ops. And the only difference is so with their employees, which would make better employees, because places like Amazon, or Amazon specifically, spent over $1 billion just rehiring people that didn't quit. I'm not saying rehiring the same people, but having to hire people to replace the people that have quit, because those people are so unsatisfied with the environment, the workload, the pay, the stress, and the ability to not make any changes. the ability not to control their environment. And he's spending over $1 billion just on that, when he could share that money with his workers, which in return they would become better workers. They would become more productive workers. They would become thinkers because they are owners as well. And then their mission would always be, how can I improve the process? How can I improve what I do? Because if I improve what I do, I improve my paycheck. It's a reward for improving something. You know, in everything you do, it may be something as simple as cutting the lights off in the bathroom. It's a benefit to that, for that worker. It's no benefit, you know, when you get the same paycheck to actually cut the lights off, or don't leave the faucet running. I mean, you see how some of these companies actually have to do. They, just like something simple as the bathroom, they have to put those, you know, where you press the faucet down and it spits out water for a few seconds and then cut off. Then the motion sensor light, they have to do all of that to save money, because the workers ain't gonna do it, because the workers could care less. They can argue till their face is blue. The workers don't care about that, because it doesn't affect the workers' paycheck. They have no desire to make the company better. And they really don't care if the company goes bankrupt. They just have to find another job and go through the same motions again. So anyway, man, I don't know. That's me just rambling a little bit. I would like people to really start thinking about worker co-ops, because that's all I can think about. And that's all I will be thinking about. But like I say, I'm going back to start recording pre-recorded content, and the things I most likely will not be talking about in that pre-recorded content is co-ops. I probably will not be talking about Black Wall Streets. It'll just be a different type of content that is aimed at entertainment. And on that note, man, I am gonna get up out of here. I am your man, T Can, and this is Royal Black. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time.
Royal Black. Power. Truth. Facts.
We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. We want it now, or we don't think anybody should have it.